Morning, George. Mark thought it would be a good idea to video Maurice and myself and have a few words with you, and just to let you know how we are and what's happening in our lives. Not a lot these days, but and we wondered it would be lovely to see you again, but I'm afraid that's probably not possible. So we just have to keep it to doing something like this, which I think is a good idea of Mark's while he's down here. Anyway, it's now nearly the end of March, and we've had so much rain in the south of England. Everything is very green, but it's quite cold. Today is sunny and warm, and not that warm, but reasonably nice. Our weeping willow, as I look out of the window down the garden, is all coming into leaf, so a real sign of spring, as are these beautiful tulips and daffodils, which Hilary's mother sent me when they arrived on Saturday. Anyway, life goes on. Maurice has been, as you know, been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He copes very well. He's on medication, as I expect he'll tell you in a minute when he speaks to you. And he's just finished chopping up vegetables. My eyes are all red this morning because I've just made a big pot full of soup for lunch, and I've been chopping onions, so it's made all my eyes runny and watery this morning. So what do we do? Well, I started swimming again about 3 weeks ago. I go once a week to our local pool, and I get in the water and swim. I'm so out of condition, though, that I do one long length and then I have to stop for a breath and then swim back again. But I am getting better. My stamina is building up as I go. So I hope to go tomorrow and swim for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then it makes you feel a little bit better to do something like that. We have a new film that's coming on at the moment, and I think we're going to see it with my friend. She gets an email from a little local cinema that tells her what's on every week, and she said this film is called Alleluia, and in it are Judi Dench and Derek Jacobi and Jennifer Saunders, who I'm not sure you may have heard of because she's not a great film actress, but she is on television quite a lot. And it sounds very good. The Guardian critic wrote quite a disparaging account of it, and said that it's based on a Alan Bennett stage play, which has been adapted for a film. But the critics said it was a very British sort of feel, I'm not sure what words he used, but it was just a sort of not mediocre, but a very ordinary film. And then he went on to say that he thought back with horror of the film Dustin Hoffman made a few years ago called Quartet, which was about singers and actresses, opera singers and actresses that all were living in this rest home. Well, I remember Maggie Smith was in that. I loved that film. So I thought, well, if he hated that film and he doesn't like this film, I will probably like it. So we're going to see it on Wednesday, late afternoon showing, and then when we come out, we're going across the road to see to buy some fish and chips for supper. And I said to Mark and Hilary they might enjoy it as well, so they may be coming with us, which would be nice. So I'm just trying to think what else we do. Shopping. I have a young, well, she's quite a young woman, comes to help clean the house. She doesn't come every week, but it does help me out a little bit because I'm still doing all the cooking and the washing and the ironing. Morris helps a little bit if he can, but he's not very domesticated, but he does help with the washing up as usual. If you remember, he always liked to help with the washing up. And so she actually comes from Senegal, but she's a delightful person. And her first language is French, of course, but her English is getting better and better. And my French, I've forgotten an awful lot of my French, and I have been trying to teach myself German so that when we go over to Joe and Irene in Austria, I'm able to understand the children, because the children now are 3.5, the twins are 3.5, and they understand German and are speaking in German and in English. And Irene is hoping that when they start school, which they do round about the ages between 6 and 7, that she will be able to find a bilingual school for them so that they will grow up fluent in both languages. Which I think is a really good idea. At the moment, they go to kindergarten, which is really good. My other granddaughter, Zoe, would you believe it, is now 30, and she has a partner, and he comes from, he's originally from Malaya. He is Malayan Chinese, but he was brought to this country with his family when he was 6 years old. He went to Oxford University, very, very clever, mathematics, I think. Anyway, they got engaged last month, and they have bought a flat in Ealing in London, North London. And Zoe is teaching some days at the Royal Ballet School in Covent Garden, and so she is back where she started in a lot. But she also has got her own pupils, and she runs a ballet school once a week. She hires out a room in a school, and she's got a lot of pupils. And I think 6 of her pupils have been. They now go to the Royal Ballet themselves, sort of, I don't know how old they are, but she teaches from the age of 3 up to adults in all her different classes. So she absolutely loves teaching. She works extremely hard. And every few months, the Royal Ballet send her over to what we call an outreach school in Italy, in Pisa, in Italy. And she teaches for a whole weekend there. A taxi comes for her in the morning. They pay for her flight over to Italy. There's a taxi in Pisa waiting for her to take her to where she's staying. And then she's only over there about 48 hours, but she does that about every 3 or 4 months. And I think she's due to go very soon, David was saying. So we see quite a lot of David and Eleanor. Mark and Hilary, of course, and Joe and Irene. We have a video chat with them because we've got a little portal. I don't think you can see it, Mark hasn't got it focused, but it's about this big a screen. It's linked up to the Facebook monopoly, and so we can do this for free. And we speak to Joe and Irene about twice a week, which is lovely. And they are coming over here in May. For about 10 days, and again they're coming in August, so they're very much in touch with us still, which is lovely. I think that's probably all the news. I hope Morris won't repeat it. He might, but I do apologise if he does. But George, we often think of you and of the wonderful times we had in Budapest. And nothing can take that away from us. Your lovely sense of humour, your interesting stories about the theatre, the time we went to Debrecen, our love of Hungary and of Budapest is always with us, and our love for you and for Dorothea and Frugi and our dear, dear Aggie. And Yeah, I mustn't talk about that because it makes me upset when I think of her, but I shouldn't feel like that because she's a wonderful, wonderful woman, wonderful wife and mother, and nothing can ever take those wonderful memories of your life together away from you. It's the thing is, when you have a long and happy marriage, there's always a price to pay when one of you is no longer here. Arlene is finding that now that Alan's gone. And we have many friends now who are left alone, but we all try to see each other regularly. I see Arlene regularly. So, we try and support each other. Anyway, George, my dearest love to you and to the girls. As I say, we think of you often. So a big kiss and a hug from England and from Hassocks to say how much we think of you and love you. So bye-bye for now.